Hello and welcome to HD Movie Talk. I'm your host, Dean, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Harlan. Hello.
Hello.
Why do you always start with an English accent? I find it very off-putting.
You know what? Honestly, I do it 100% subconsciously.
Do you?
Yes, because you're the only voice I'm hearing, so I'm like,
I hope I'm the only voice you're hearing. It would be quite disconcerting otherwise.
Well, and Fred too. You can't forget about Fred.
Anyway, today we are doing episode 2 of The Silver Lining. Do you want to tell us what that is, or do you want Fred to do it for you?
No, Fred, he doesn't like to be on camera. Anyways, today we're doing episode 2 of The Silver Lining, a show where we bring a bad movie to the spotlight, talk about the bad, talk about the good, and then we try to fix it. And today's episode,
Yeah.
do you want to say it? I think you were physically
No, I was
prepared.
just about to say we bring a bad movie into the spotlight, like you said. And for those who are only listening on an audio medium without the video component, today we are talking about Fant4stic,
Oh
otherwise
yeah.
known as the latest Fantastic Four movie. Unless you're listening in the future when there's hopefully a good one out. Please, for the love of
But
God,
John
give us a good
wants.
one. Yeah. So, do you want to start us off with a quick plot summary for everyone who hasn't suffered through this?
I would love to. So here is the basic plot of it all. And if you haven't seen it, don't, and just keep on watching because don't waste your time on it. But there will be slight spoilers in here, I guess, technically. So the movie starts off with us being introduced to a young Reed Richards and his new buddy Ben Grimm. And then it turns out Reed just so happened to figure out how to travel to different dimensions at the age of 10. Then we hop forward about 7 years, no, exactly 7 years, because the movie tells us, into the future where Sue Storm and her dad find Reed and Ben at a science fair, which is really weird because every kid there is like 10 years old besides them, and they're like
25.
Yeah. But anyways, that's not the point. So Sue Storm's dad recruits the two to come over to New York in a super high-tech military school base. It's very strange. But anyways, Ben Grimm actually ends up going back home because Ben is dumb and he knows he won't be able to do anything there. And then Sue Storm's dad ends up recruiting more people, that being Victor Von Doom and Johnny Storm, who's actually a drag racer. They all get to drag racer. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
Drag
he's
race?
good friends with Dominic Toretto.
Who?
He's Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies. It was a little joke I was telling.
Good one. Good one. Anyways, and the four, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Reed Richards, and Victor Von Doom, get to work on their teleportation machine, basically. And then they all get drunk, and they all, well, not them all. Sue Storm stays behind, but everybody else goes to this new mysterious planet. And it goes wrong, of course. Victor Von Doom was presumed dead, and they all get fantastical abilities. Ben Grimm is rocks, Reed is long, Sue is invisible, and Johnny is on fire. And then what follows is possibly the most boring second act imaginable, with no fights and literally just people complaining. Then, oh my gosh, it turns out Victor Von Doom is alive. Who would have guessed?
I
And he
guess that.
looks. What?
I guess
You
that.
guessed that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm proud of you, Dean. You're doing better. Anyways, and and then it turns out Victor Von Doom is alive, and he looks really, really, really strange and goofy, and it makes you want to laugh at him. But he ends up killing people. It gives a typical bad guy speech, shoots a laser in the sky, wants to destroy Earth, yada yada. The Fantastic Four goes and defeats Victor Von Doom, and then that's how it ends, basically.
That's a pretty solid plot summary, I would say. That was well done. And now if I have your permission, I would like to try out for the role of Harlan by presenting you with some fun facts.
Go for it. Good luck.
Was that you saying, yeah, never gonna happen? To be fair, they're not that fun. They're basically all about why and how this movie is bad.
Go for it.
So Josh Trank, who is the director of this, envisioned his film to be about 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and the studio cut it down to its final runtime, which is about 1 hour 40. So cut off like a good chunk of the movie there, which makes sense.
Possibly did us a favor. Maybe.
So the only reason this movie was made, and partially why it was bad, is because if the movie had been delayed longer than 2015, the rights would have reverted back to Marvel, so then they can make films about the Fantastic Four, because they had a 7-year window to make a movie in, and they rushed it. And that's why it's bad. And there's other reasons. This is a quote I stole from Entertainment Weekly. I'm not stealing it because I've credited them, and it says as follows: on set, Trank was told to be abusive and insulting to the crew and cast. The studio hadn't wanted Whiplash star Teller, but Trank had fought for him. Then he ended up almost fighting Teller, who has a reputation of sarcasm and recalcitrance while working. At one point, the conflict became physical, while Trank and Teller chest to chest, daring each other to throw the first punch. Neither did.
Whoa.
So things almost got physical on set.
Wow.
And Trank wanted Alison Williams to play Sue Storm, but the studio insisted on Kate Mara, who plays her in the movie. So reportedly, Trank was difficult with her and bullied her on set.
Oh boy.
And the bad performance of this film is reportedly what got Miles Teller dropped from La La Land and Josh Trank from directing a Star Wars project about Boba Fett, because that was in the works for a while until this movie came out and he was fired from it.
Wow. Sucks for you, Josh Trank.
This might be my favorite fun fact. Former Fox CEO Rupert Murdoch expressed distaste for this movie and solely blamed it for one of Fox's fiscal quarters earning hundreds of millions lower than their expectations. So he blames this movie on the reason why the whole of Fox didn't make enough money.
The man is right. This
Yeah.
was it. This was the one. That's what screwed Fox over.
This is why they were bought by Disney. And my final fun fact is Jeremy Slater's original version of the screenplay included Mole Man, Doctor Doom, and Galactus as the villains. Doctor Doom would have been a Latverian dictator, like he is. However, Simon Kinberg rewrote the screenplay, making Doctor Doom an antisocial programmer and cutting Mole Man and Galactus altogether. So there we go.
What a bold choice.
Imagine if they just. We're going to talk about it. Should we talk about the bad first, don't we?
Yeah, sure. Do you? I'll go first, and I will point out my main. Like, if I'm going to, like, if somebody says, "Quick, say something bad about Fant4stic," this
Okay.
is the first thing I say.
Yeah.
Kate Mara's wig.
Oh, yes. I had this one down as well.
It is blatantly obvious. Like, there's like, you can instantly tell.
It's
And it's
like
like half
shot
the
from
movie.
shot. Yeah, and it changes like so quickly that she's wearing a wig. It's not even a good wig.
No, it looks literally nothing like her hair.
It's ridiculous. I just don't understand it.
It actually kind of makes the movie a little bit more fun because you can play a game like, is this a reshoot or is it not a reshoot?
It's ridiculous. Do you want to hear my biggest complaint about this movie?
What's your biggest complaint?
2 words for you: Doctor Doom.
Yep.
Doctor Doom, I think, it is widely regarded as one of the greatest comic book villains ever. He is the inspiration behind Darth freaking Vader. Okay.
Yeah. That I had him just I had just Doctor Doom.
I had Doctor Doom
well.
all caps was one of mine, just because they did him so dirty. He's not, number one, he's not a Latverian dictator. Number two, he did even worse than the last few Fantastic Four movies because he doesn't have a suit of armor. He doesn't have any weapons. Something I always like about Doctor Doom in the comics is he has a mix of magic and technology that he uses, and they don't use any of that here. Obviously, he doesn't even look like Doctor Doom. He doesn't wear any green cape or anything like that, and
Where's something?
he's nothing. Yeah, yeah, he looks a little like, but he just does not wear like a proper Doctor Doom outfit at all, and just everything about this guy.
Ooh, honestly, what he looks like is like somebody who had never seen Doctor Doom before. Like somebody just showed that person a picture of him real quick, hit it, and then told them to draw it.
And that's kind of what his personality is like as well. They're like, well, this guy looks like he's got really weird skin. So let's say he fell in a radioactive pool of magical energy or something like that.
And okay, if and you kind of mentioned this before, but if the original Fant4stic movies did a better portrayal of Doctor Doom than you, that's how you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. Half the reason I'm so excited to see Fantastic Four in the MCU is just to see a proper, intimidating, and powerful Doctor Doom. Because Doctor Doom is meant to be one of the most powerful characters out there.
Do you think there's like a potential of him being like the next Thanos?
Yeah. I think the three I think have the biggest potential to be the biggest are Galactus, Doctor Doom, and Kang. And all three of them are traditionally Fantastic Four villains. They all come from the Fantastic Four originally.
Right. We know we're getting Kang the
Yes.
Conqueror and Ant-Man Quantumania. Didn't that start shooting recently?
Yes, it did. And I think you can't do Kang as a one and done. I'll be disappointed if he's.
No, I can't imagine. I thought he was going to be one of the timekeepers, but turns out.
Well, who knows? Spoiler
Yeah,
for
yeah. Who knows?
I knew spoilers, but I knew they were Wizard of Ozing it. We're getting off track, but
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Wizard of Ozing it. Okay, what's your next complaint? Complain to me. Not about me personally, just about the movie.
Oh my god. Why did they have to make the clobberin' time quote like personal?
Yeah.
It literally just it's him saying I'm gonna punch you, but they had to turn that. They gave a story behind it.
It's such a cute little nickname, like a phrase, and then they just ruin it.
It's so weird. Like if it came off like naturally, it doesn't. But the actor who like is like beating Ben Grimm or whatever is like blah blah blah. It's clobberin' time. It's so bad.
You could have been in this movie, Harlan.
Dude, honestly, I could have played everybody. Just give me like a blonde wig.
Honestly, if your biggest complaint is the wigs, then one of my biggest complaint, it really upsets me throughout the second half of this movie, like deep in my soul, is the fact that the Thing never wears any pants. What's up with that? Just give him some. Like,
well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because if you think about it, like, what does he have a
yeah,
a rock penis?
Yeah, no, I get that, but like, there's a time jump of a year. And in that year, someone could have made him some pants.
And if he does have a penis, does he get?
Let's leave that there. I just really want. I don't know why, but I just really didn't like that he wasn't wearing any trousers. Which don't make fun of me saying trousers. It's just the way I roll.
You know, I'll let it fly for this one time.
That's my one use of the word trousers.
Yeah. It's weird, but also like at least I'm not having to think, oh, does the Hulk have a wiener? When he is wearing pants.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was his bum, because I feel like there was some definition to it.
Were you checking out the Thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was some definition to it.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
But does the Thing have to eat? Because if so, then he's got to have some waste product. Or is he just self-sustaining?
I think we're going too
somehow?
Deep into this.
Anyway, can we stop talking about?
Okay, I'll bring up my kind of talking about the Thing a little bit. The CGI in this movie.
That's what we were just talking about.
Oh, the Thing's thing. Whatever. What bothered me a lot about this movie is the CGI.
Okay.
And because the main part where it's bad, and this blows my mind, is the shot of Reed Richards,
Doing
like
all the
after the accident, he's all like stretched out,
yeah.
and that was like a ballsy shot. They did it super close up, and it looks so bad. It looks like a cartoon. Like typically when you do like close up shots like that, that's when you're supposed to have like the best CGI. And then when you pull out, you can make it a little bit less intense. But I don't think they got that message. I think they were just like, this seems good enough, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah. No, I get that. Another one I would quickly. There's a couple I'll quickly touch on. Number one is the fact that they're so much older than everyone else at this
Oh,
science fair.
yeah. Yeah. That's like one thing I mean, we only see like 2 or 3
Yeah,
kids.
but they're all kids. The
They,
thing is,
yes.
in Spider-Man, in the one you love so much, that Tobey Maguire is about the same age as those two, but that feels less weird because pretty much all the other actors in it are around the
Yeah.
same age, so it doesn't come off. Obviously, it's still a little weird. When I always think it's quite funny seeing Tobey Maguire running after the school bus at the start of the movie because it looks like he's a 30-year-old man running after the school bus.
we do not diss the Raimi trilogy.
But
Are
it
we
works
clear?
in that
Yes, it
because
works.
they
It works. There are no flaws to that movie, okay?
it works because the other people there are also old, but they just cast thing a cool little Easter egg. I don't know if you would notice this. Do you know who plays their teacher?
The voice of Bart Simpson.
Homer Simpson.
That's what I said.
Bart is a woman.
I
Sorry
did
to
not.
bring it to
Bart
you.
is wait, no. Bart is the kid.
No, the actress of Bart is a woman.
Oh. Oh, I was like, you idiot.
I know who Bart Simpson is. I'm not that British. Okay. So that's one. Also, the fact that they got this is nitpicky. They got fired from the science fair, okay? Because they didn't do real science and because they just made the plane disappear and then reappear with loads of dust and sand on it. But even if that was a magic trick, surely that's impressive enough to win a science fair. When you're like,
that was dumb, but I'm like, okay, whatever.
they're like, you're fired, but surely you'd be like, whoa, how did you make that? Mirrors, smoke, any
I feel
explanation?
like what let's look at this at like a big picture, right?
Okay.
Let's look at the big picture. How would the story have changed if the teacher was like, "Oh my god," because those government people were coming in either way.
No, it wouldn't. Also, it would make number one. I think his the people in his class and the teacher are way too mean to read. Just unjustifiably mean. Where they're like, Reed, you're stupid. You're such an idiot.
You idiot.
Surely the
Even though
teacher's
you
got to
show us these
realize that he's
complex
such an
equations.
intelligent kid when he's writing all those sums in his book and everything. But anyway, and then they're like that. But what could have been a better? We're not on to the improvements yet.
No, we got it.
But
We're halfway through
what
right
could
now.
have worked if they were like, "Hey, Reed, that's so amazing you did this science fair thing. Why don't I like print about this in a newspaper or something?" And then the
Yeah.
storm see it and they're like, "Hey, this guy's got some potential." Because do they just spend all their days walking around science fairs, which seem like they're predominantly filled by 10-year-olds? Just
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
potato clock, nice.
hmm. Vinegar volcano. Man. Oh, I almost said that perfectly.
Almost. Shame that I'm not going to edit it out. Okay, what's your next bad thing?
My last bad thing.
Next, if it's your
Next.
last.
Oh, this next thing I'm gonna combine them. I have dialogue and lack of chemistry between the actors
Yeah,
because you can tell none of them actually like each other.
two of them got married.
You can tell that some of them don't actually like each other.
The actress of Kate Mara, not the actress Kate Mara married Jamie Bell, who is Invisible Woman and The Thing.
Oh
They
wow,
they got married a few years after this movie because they met on the set.
well, that's good.
One good thing came
At
out
least
of it.
one good thing came from this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I get that though. I wrote down that this movie references a bond between the characters as well as a Reed and Doom rivalry, but it doesn't set one up. So at the end of the movie, they're all like, "Hey, we can do this if we work together because we're such good friends. Where like we literally have not seen that at all in the movie. And then Doom is all like, oh, you think you're better than me, blah, blah, blah. Then there's also the line, there's only Doom, which is pretty fun. But like they do not set up any of this stuff at all. I've got a big one here, which is the end fight. And the final one is just, there's way too many time jumps.
The laser beam in the sky.
Oh, done to death by now. Was it at this point in?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because it was in
At this
Avengers.
point, people were.
Avengers is the big one. I think it's in Suicide Squad, but I don't think that would have. Was that? I don't think that would have been out.
Yeah, it was already out.
It's definitely done to death now.
Yeah, now if you do it, you're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's out of fashion. My another two. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of too many time jumps in this movie because they really jump over the most important parts.
Yes, they do.
And
they like skip over them learning their powers.
And you kind of said this when you were talking about your plot summary, that it feels like two different movies. I feel like from the point they get their powers, the entire vibe of the movie changes, and it just feels like a different movie.
I honestly, well, I mean, the first act was good. Second act and third act, it was a different movie.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
and then my last thing,
okay,
is how they end the movie.
Oh, with Fant4stic.
It's fantastic.
Again. Say that again.
So dumb. Captain Marvel, the name of it's Captain Marvel, but that's never said. You can do that.
But the thing is, I think there is something inherently goofy about the Fantastic Four. And I really like the Fantastic Four as a group, so I am very excited to see them again. But I really hope they lean into goofiness.
That's the Fantastic Four. If any comic book is not meant to be dark, it's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and like they kind of Should we just move on to the good stuff? Because
let's brighten the mood a little bit.
Who wants to? I will. Do you want me to start?
Sure.
I would go out on a limb here and say the casting in this movie is pretty good. Some of it is fantastic, I would say. Pun not intended, haha. But I would say a lot of the casting is very good. Just a lot of the actors kind of phone it in, I think.
No, every actor in here is like a brilliant actor.
And like I think they suit the role well for the most part.
Yeah, but the dialogue, the directing, it just didn't work.
Yeah. I think Michael B. Jordan works pretty well.
Yeah, he's alright. But the first thing that I like is the accident scene where like Reed wakes up and everything's on fire and burnt and everything. That was actually really chilling, and I thought, they were going for this darker tone, and although like I'm not a big fan of that, they pulled that scene off really well, I think.
Yeah, I also put down there is a horror vibe when like they first unlock their powers, and I think the scene where you first see them with their powers kind of works with this like sudden surprise tone of horror they've got going there, and I think they kind of pull off that well, but it obviously was not continued.
No,
the second half.
Ditched that. What's the next on yours?
I'm running out, so I've said my Johnny Storm one.
You said one.
I said two. Okay.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I'm three now. Now I've mentioned Johnny Storm. I liked his character. Michael B. Jordan got kind of the Chris Evans vibe of being like, oh, I'm better than all of you, and like being quite cocky. I think that worked well. I like the Thing design, apart from the naked.
It's all right. It's okay. I think his eyes are a little glossy, and that's weird. He looks. I prefer 100% the Thing in the original movies.
Fun fact, this is the first Thing, sorry, I realise I'm doing fun facts again, to have 5 fingers instead of 4. And it's the first fully CGI thing, because obviously in the
right
other one is prosthetics.
Which I think worked better than this.
I think
But
they'll definitely go CGI in the MCU, and I reckon he'll look like
yes,
the
they
original
will
one. They go
definitely.
CGI everything.
So I have a couple that I'm going to go through. The first thing that's like kinda is the
The
suits that they.
Thing, you like the Thing.
Oh wow, this is gonna be rough. Anyways, the suits that they wear. I think it's cool how like the Human Torch has to turn on his suit so that like he can't really control it. I thought that was interesting, and I also thought that it was just interesting how like in the original Fantastic Four movies at least, like all the suits were the same, but each member kind of had like a different like thing about it. I thought that was interesting at least. What else do I have? Let's see. Um, um, the face swap that Reed does, where like
I like
his
that.
face
That was cool,
that
actually.
was cool. I mean, the CGI is a little iffy.
It's a good use of powers.
Yeah. Um, it was something I could have sworn they did that in the first movie. Well, they did,
Did
but it
they?
was deleted.
I haven't seen those two in the original. I feel like people may correct us, but the first movie actually came out in 1994 and was never released.
What? No, the 1994 one, yeah, but there was like a deleted scene in Fantastic Four where Mr. Fantastic morphs his face into Hugh Jackman.
Oh yes, yes, that's good stuff. It would have been good if Miles Teller moved his face into Hugh Jackman, and then he goes in to buy it, and the guy's like, "You're Wolverine, you're famous movie actor, Hugh Jackman."
that would have been cool, something like that. They couldn't because they were like, I don't know.
Originally, this was supposed to be in the X-Men universe until it was bad.
Was it supposed to be?
I think so. Yeah, I did read
Hmm.
that somewhere.
Um, and my last thing, I like the whole like government taking advantage of like Ben and Johnny. I thought that was like a cool commentary kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting element, especially when they're like, "Oh, cool, now let's give this thing to NASA." But okay, sorry to complain again, but like when they're like, "Hey, we should give this to NASA so they can get sent into the negative zone," which is not what it's called in the movie, but it's that in the comics. And then they're like, "No, I want to go in," and I'm like, "No, it makes complete sense to send these people that know what they're doing in."
Yeah, I mean they should have seen that come. But the excuse I think for the script is they're kids. Hey,
Yeah.
what you gonna do? They're kids.
Do you think that was the guy at the script? Like,
Yeah,
he was like, he was trying to pitch this movie to Fox, and he's like, "But they're kids. What they gonna do?
spaghetti and meatballs. They're kids. What do you want me to do?
They drink the meatball juice." Sorry for offending anyone.
Okay,
That was
that was rough, but we got through it. We talked about
we
our
know we
the
know
parts we
every single
liked.
podcast we've got it written in our contracts. We got to do 20 seconds of bad Italian.
Yes, every episode from here on out will feature our bad Italian accents.
I feel like we should really baffle our guests with that. Both of us to start going Italian.
Or we just like start the podcast off like that, like just like no introduction. We're like, "Hey, welcome to HD Movie Talk. We talk movies."
You gone
And
kind of New
that's it.
York there, but we're
Yeah,
like,
the same
we
thing.
talk movies, we talk meatballs, we talk about Mario.
um, I was gonna say another New York thing, so I'm not gonna do it.
I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm walking here.
That was pretty good. It was better than your
Thanks.
English accent.
Okay, so is it time to talk about our rewrites?
Yeah, this is the bit where we basically we're going to send this to Rupert Murdoch, this audio file. Should we send the video as well?
Um, sure. My hair looks good.
Okay. I was wondering what you're doing. And then Rupert Murdoch will hopefully spend hundreds of millions of dollars on more reshoots.
Yes, with a
As if
different
this
wig for Kate Mara.
movie didn't have enough. Should I give you my rewrite first, and then we try and then you give yours, and then we try to merge them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep the basis of this movie pretty much the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Me as well.
I'm gonna try and do that. And basically, it starts the same with the science fair and all that stuff. Apart from the fact that he might win the science fair, who cares? And everyone at the science fair is the same age as him. But the first major difference is Doom is funding the entire project. He is a foreign leader and he's mysterious. And the reason he's funding the project is because the government dropped them. We kind of get hints of that in this movie when the governments are like to Dr. Storm. They're like, hey, you're just wasting your time. It's the Italian government.
Oh, I see.
and like them building the machine is very similar, and they all have bonding time in this movie actually. And they build the machine and they get their powers the same way, but because Doom is funding them and they're a bit more ragtag, they have to go through themselves because it's not like they can bring NASA in, so they have to go into the negative zone themselves. And then when they return, they've got all their powers and everything, but they discover that Doom wants to use this machine for nefarious purposes because he's a villain. I don't know if in this one he's
No way.
so they try to like take the machine away from Doom, which they do. And then they have a fight and they unlock their powers in this fight, and Doom kind of gets beaten up a bit. And they like continue to bond and they test their powers together, and maybe they stop a robbery or something despite Dr. Storm telling them they have to hide away. And while they're doing this, Doom creates himself a suit that siphons power from the negative zone, so it kind of works like magic. And like that's how he's got his powers, and he's got a suit, and then he goes to the Fantastic Four and he attacks them and he wins the negative zone machine back. He takes it, builds it into whatever doomsday device he wants to. Doesn't matter. Every superhero movie has a dumb doomsday device. And then the Fantastic Four have to go to Latvia and stop him.
I like it.
Movie. And then it ends with a scene of them all standing in this room, and then they go, hey, what should we call us? And then they're like, I don't know, but we're pretty fantastic, aren't we? And then they go, say that bloody again.
Oh, I cut that part out. That part is not in my rewrite. But
can we add it in? Is there room?
Okay. What'd you say? Wait, I didn't hear what you said. Say it one more time.
Can we add it in? And then you went, okay.
Oh. No, we can't actually. I've come to the conclusion, and you need to follow my orders. Okay, here's my thing. So, first things first, we need to get rid of that Clobber in Time origin.
That's good. Yeah, I'll put that in my one as well. Just slotting that in.
It's nowhere to be found. And we need to make sure to give the adult actors freedom to actually have chemistry, because that's important because they're all great actors. And so I as well try to keep a general like staying close to the script as possible while improving it. And I kind of kept with the thing that Victor, once a part of this project, learned about Reed and how close he was coming to, kind of redoing what he was going towards, because that's kind of how the movie goes. And so, everybody gets recruited, and Victor comes onto the project trying to get in Reed's head, like trying to make Reed his puppet. Victor like messages Reed and tells him about what the company did to him, like how he's not in there anymore, and how they would never let Reed go by himself, like go to the different dimension.
They call it Planet Zero in the movie.
And so they are, Reed's like, oh, I need to go, like how he's in the movie, because he's a child. And so after some manipulation, Victor gets the team to go to the other dimension, and the horror thing happens. Victor falls into the goo, whatever. But before that happened, miscategorized my bullet points. Before they leave, Sue warns Reed, and she's like, yo, this Victor guy, I've had some experience with him in the past. And then we kind of get a flashback of Victor's and Sue's relationship. because that was hinted towards. We never really got anything like that. There's a lot of things in the movie where we got hinted, but we had no actual clue. Um, so you know, they all die. Well, not die, but they all get hurt. They all get their new
They all
powers.
die. The
Second,
end. That's how we
second,
approve this movie.
second act. Years pass, and it opens up following Ben as he takes tanks apart. You know what we saw in the security footage, but it's actually footage. Like we actually are there.
Yeah, because that was in the original cut of the movie, and it was in all the trailers. In all the
Right,
trailers, there was like the Thing fighting in the forest.
but we didn't get any of that. We just saw boring things. And instead of Johnny whining about like how he actually wants to go out with Ben and like fight people, he actually goes out there. Like he does that. And then that creates this kind of tension between Ben and Johnny because you know the only reason Ben Grimm is doing this is so he can get a cure or like want he that's his idea. You know he's not doing this because he wants to, but Johnny is. So Ben is kind of mad at him, and Johnny's kind of mad at him, and it creates that tension that they have, like Ben and Johnny, just like in the comics and jazz, which we don't have in this. Um, and it also kind of gives Johnny Storm a little bit more quirkiness and makes him a more funny character, because we see more of him. And then we find Victor in the dimension, but instead of being a wasted piece of melted plastic, he is like instead severely scarred and has like glowing cracks to like green in his skin. And that will be used later. And instead of being a so third act, instead of being a super head exploder and like naturally getting powers, we learn that Victor has kind of taught himself how to control the molecules around him on planet Zero, which kind of like plays into that magic aspect, but it's not really magic, but it kind of is. And the amount that's in his body, which is like those green cracks, he can use on Earth, but he can't use it. Like he has unlimited power on Planet Zero, but on Earth he has whatever is in his body. If that makes sense. Um, and with his telekinesis, he makes himself like a helmet to kind of like cover his disfiguration, and kind of gives him like a sort of Doctor Doom look, but he's making this with his telekinetic powers, so it doesn't really count. And instead of Victor wanting to destroy Earth, he wants to rule it, um, because that's Doctor Doom, and encourages Sue to join him, which makes sense because we got some background on those characters. However, Sue prefers her new family and figuratively gives Victor the middle finger. No beam in the sky, but the team learns to fight together when Victor uses the elements of Planet Zero on the team. And the rest of the movie goes how it goes, besides some reworked dialogue at the end. They don't say the Fantastic Four at the end. Let the audience infer what they're about to say. Like, there's no cutoff. That scene's gone. I put it in here. That is in here. I wrote
Did
that.
you actually write it down?
Yes, that is in my phone.
That's funny. Okay, so now we have the tricky job of coming up with a compromise, which is always very difficult because I hate
Yes.
to agree with anything Harlan says. Like it kind of makes me it makes me feel weird inside. So I feel like the biggest difference between yours and mine is our treatment of Doom. So
Yes. I think
how are we going to go around this? We didn't have to do this last time.
I think the mixture of yours and mine is I think what the best thing scenario is, Victor is controlling this thing. You know, he's not like a kid or
Yeah.
anything. He's this rich dude. Um, but he goes with them. Like he's this rich dude because he wants to go there, so he goes there.
Hmm.
So I think like, and if he's like this rich dude, then like maybe they send like search parties looking for him, and then he's this. You know, I think if he's it goes, I think. Well, what do you think? What do you think about that? I'm getting a
I
little
think that
scatterbrained.
works. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you had to change anything, what would you?
No, I think saying that works. And I think if we kind of keep your ending and your evolution of his powers, that works. Just I like the idea of him being. No, I don't know. I was about to say I like the idea of him being a dictator, but I don't know how well that blends with the rest of this movie. Just because to me, I get upset because that's a crucial part of his character that we've always missed.
I think the dictatorship like that could work. Like
Yeah,
him wanting to be like, but like we don't actually see it. We see him
yeah,
wanting it.
that's
Um,
not a bad idea. And then, like, because our movie is good, it's going to get a sequel.
well, obviously, and then that
And
could.
then in the sequel, he can be the ruler of Latveria, and we can get a big dumb Galactus, which isn't a big cloud because that's really stupid.
But
Because
that's why not? I love the cloud.
he's definitely one of the most charismatic Marvel villains.
The cloud.
So I feel like that's a good mix there. So should we?
Yeah. Um, what else like do we need to mix? Like,
What are we saying about Doom's powers? We talk about his origin,
mm,
but where does he
mm-hmm.
get his powers from?
Well, does he know magic? Like, does he know magic before?
I feel like that's a bit of a stretch to say in this movie. I'm happy to
Yeah, I,
drop that
I,
element. I think
I
here's my pitch. Okay, kind of combining the ideas. So he gets his powers from the negative zone or planet zero, same as he does in the movie, and then he comes to
mm-hmm,
the real world, and like being in the real world damages him, and like it hurts him. So they put him in this suit of armor, and like this suit of armor
mm,
is what protects him in the real. Kind of like, I mean, that's kind of what his origin is, because under the suit he's kind of scarred and disfigured. But that, I'm pretty sure that's because of a curse. In the comics, he's like that. So if we say
mm,
like he has to wear this suit to stay alive in the overworld, and then he goes there, and then it's pretty much the same.
hmm. Yeah, I like that. And are we keeping the like he draws his power from?
Yeah, I think that's a good element. Oh
Okay,
wait, the one you said. I like how you said he got his powers.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean the whole magic idea I don't think fits in
doesn't work.
this.
They're gonna do it in the MCU. I'm confident they will, and
I'm confident that they will make a very very comic accurate version of Doctor Doom.
yeah, he'll have the same. Like I reckon he's gonna look just like he does in the comics,
He
and
better like it better actually like it should look animated.
yeah, and the I feel like because we've got to this point in the MCU with Doctor Strange and Wanda and everything like that, seeing a science and magic combo would be really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely not far fetched at all.
Yeah, but will he be the villain in the first one? Who knows?
He shouldn't be. I don't think it. I think
Not
a
then.
character like Victor Von Doom needs a lot of setup.
Yeah, I kind of get that. But like then the other big one is Galactus, and they can't go for Galactus straight out the gate either.
Okay. Well, I think hopefully
Mole Man?
no.
I reckon they could do Mole Man. Mole Man has to at least be a minor villain. I would want to see Mole Man.
Well, what I was saying about Galactus, I think Galactus might be prioritized as more of a universal threat
Yeah,
instead of
but the thing
just
is, I feel like if they introduce Doctor Doom in the first Fantastic Four movie, there is a 0% chance they will kill him in the same movie, and if they do, he's not actually dead. Because
yeah.
I feel like Marvel's getting to the point where they can do reoccurring villains. It's not something we've really seen.
Well, besides Loki,
Yeah, but like he kind of, yeah, yeah,
well, he's more like an anti-hero.
and
So
maybe like you could say Zemo,
you could say Zemo.
but like there's still two things. I feel like Doom can be a big reoccurring. He can be the one. I feel like he makes the most sense. Him or Kang make the most sense
Yeah.
because something you don't have with Galactus that you'd have with Thanos being the big bad is you need someone behind the scenes pulling all the strings.
Mm.
And that's not something Galactus is going to do. So Galactus would work well as a good villain for Avengers 4 because that's like an
Yeah.
interim villain, isn't it?
If
In
that
the build up,
happens.
in the build up to the big one.
Yeah. Oh my. What was I gonna say?
John
Oh,
Krasinski.
I doubt they'll do Doctor Doom for the first Fantastic Four movie because they've done Doctor Doom as like the
That's
villain
true.
for the past 3 movies.
4. He was in the 1994 one as well.
Oh my! Well, that was never released.
That's true. You can watch it.
Theatrically.
I found it on YouTube. I might give it a watch. I mean, we can talk about it in a later episode of this down the line.
Oh, that would suck. to
I
watch.
read the comments of it on YouTube, and all of them were like, "Oh, this is the best one, the Fantastic Four movie that's been released." They could do Namor. He's a
Mm,
Fantastic Four villain. He often flirts with the Invisible Woman.
who doesn't? Everybody flirts with Sue
Um,
Storm,
there's
apparently.
also the Impossible Man. You could go. Do you know Molecule Man? That's a good choice.
Uh,
Molecule Man. The only reason I know him is because he's in. I feel like he was in the Avengers: Earth Mightiest Hero, which is amazing. There's the Frightful Four, which is a good one.
I feel like they're probably going to go with. I don't know. I
They
think
could
if
go
this is.
the Power Scroll. Do you know like the Super Scroll? That's his name.
Oh, this. Yeah, I mean, they should go scrolls.
Yeah, that's true because Scrolls are a Fantastic Four villain as well. They're introducing so many Fantastic Four villains at the moment.
And I think that's going to make it really easy because I feel like what drags the Fantastic Four movies down is you got this team that you have to set up. Arguably a more complex team than the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
And if you're using Doctor Doom as your villain, he
then
is the
he
most complex Marvel
yeah
villain.
yeah.
So it's not going to work.
No, you're right. You're right. I feel like
So if you use this villain that's already been not they're not villains in the MCU right now. They could easily be, but if you introduced that, and then
that
you could
works.
have what,
That works. Yeah.
and then you could just purely focus on the good guys chemistry, which Marvel is really good at doing. I need to look
And
something up. When does Secret Invasion come out?
I don't think it has a release date.
Okay, so we are definitely getting um Fantastic Four before Secret Invasion.
Okay, so this guy, sorry to jump in there, but
No, you're good.
the this is my favorite Fantastic Four villain. He's on the list of Fantastic Four villains on Wikipedia. He's called Hate Monger, and under notable alter ego, it says clone of Adolf Hitler. Can you imagine if they did a supervillain? He dresses up like a funny fella, like a very comic booky villain.
Yeah, he looks like
He look, yeah,
a big H on his chest.
yeah, and imagine if they did that as a clone of Hitler.
That'd be a ballsy move. That would
They're
be
not going to do it. No way, ever. I would be so happy with that. anyway,
Fantastic Four fighting each other under the sinister spell of the Hate Monger. Don't dare reveal his true identity after reading this tale. That's a
his true identity is literally Hitler.
it's I'm looking at a comic book poster or cover of a hate monger.
The last thing I want to talk about the new Fantastic Four movie
Yes,
is the fact that I'm a bit disappointed by the director.
I am too,
It's
because
Peyton Reed.
the
No,
Fantastic Four
no,
movie.
what's
No,
his name? John
it's
Watts.
yeah, Sean Watts.
It's John Watts, who is the director of the first, well, the three Spider-Man movies, and those movies are good. I just feel like he's a bit bland.
They're really bland. They're like that's like they're good, but that's like my main complaint about the new Spider-Man movies is they're just like not made for TV, but like they're like the Avengers. The Avengers movie looks like so
Yeah,
much less inspired.
yeah, and the other choice was Peyton Reed, who does the Ant-Man. He's done the two Ant-Man movies.
And he's average too.
Yeah, he
Peyton
really
Reed and
wanted to
John
direct the
Watts.
Fantastic Four, and I think he's just as average. I think we need to get someone proper. No
Yeah.
offense. No, this sounds mean. Me going, oh, Peyton Reed and John Watts, you're not proper directors, but just get someone who I prefer.
For me. Do it for me, Kevin.
Marvel, I don't care about all these people you're making these movies for. Forget the only representation I care about is the representation for me. Why aren't there more white men superheroes?
I am a co-host on HG Movie Talk, god damn it. I'm trying to think of a different director, like a different Marvel director that could do
Yeah, I
it.
don't know. I don't know.
You know who they should get back?
Who? Edgar
Bryan Singer. He should direct this.
I feel like we should get Bryan Singer and Joss
Oh,
Whedon.
produced by Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, and Joss Whedon team up on it.
Oh, and you cannot forget about that Bill Cosby cameo, because you could
Yeah.
get them because he just got out of jail.
Oh, don't. Okay, we are. Why does this happen every time? Um,
Is that
anyway,
ridiculous?
yeah, I think going back to something, just speaking about white actors made me think about how angry people were about uh Michael B. Jordan and how good I think he does in this movie. I
Yeah,
think
it
he's the
doesn't
best
matter.
one. I think he's the best
It,
one.
you think? Well, I'm definitely impartial because I love Chris Evans.
No, I mean the best person in this movie, the best actor.
Oh, yes, easily.
Yeah, he does good. Anyway, that's enough. Okay, quickly, let's talk about our favorite and least favorite part of this movie. My least favorite part of this movie is the bit where Doctor Doom goes, "There is no victor, only doom." And
And
my favorite part is the credits. No, I'm joking. my what is my favorite part? That's a good question. My favorite part is go on. What's your favorite part and least favorite
well,
part?
my least favorite part, um, is the end bit.
When they're like, "Hey, you know what? We should be called the Fantastic Four."
Yeah,
That's
because it's
fun.
stupid and it doesn't make any sense. It's I think
Yeah. I really don't. I really can't pick a favorite moment. There's just a lot of
no,
fine stuff.
my favorite part I can definitely pinpoint to this is that like horror scene of everything on fire and like they just got like their powers and
And you know what? I'll agree with you there.
yeah.
That's cool. It doesn't fit with the overall movie, but in a vacuum, that's pretty great. I think
Yeah, when I saw
that would
I
be
like
so cool in a better movie.
it would be so cool in a better movie. I was watching it trying to find every good bit I could, so I really appreciated that.
No, yeah, you're like, oh, thank you. Something good to write down for once. Thanks
Yeah,
a lot, Josh Trank. Stop fighting people on set. That's who we should get to direct the next one. Bring him back.
wonderful. Oh, what a good movie.
Okay, so last thing we need to do is we need to rate the original movie out of 10, and then we
Mm,
need to rate our blah, blah, blah. And then we need to rate our rewrite out of 10.
okay. So I would probably give this movie a 3 out of 10.
Okay, I was going to give it a 2
Mm, why would you give it why a 2 instead of a 3?
because just
Okay.
it just physically pains me what they've done to my boy Vic and what they've done
Mm.
to the Fantastic Four, and just
See, like
how it there's no pacing to it. There's no flow to this movie.
you're a pretty big Fantastic Four junkie, right? Like you really
Yeah,
love
yeah.
like I like them, but I don't
I
like
think
comics or anything.
no, yeah. I haven't read many Fantastic Four comics at all, really. I just really think they were the first superheroes to really be about family with problems. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were
And that's what they
problematic.
started. They yeah, and good on them, you know. And just the fact that how ruined they are, and it just doesn't feel like a movie to me. You watch it, and there is no flow to it.
No,
It's like, oh, we're
it's
jumping a year into the future. We're jumping 7 years into the future. There's just
it is a mess. Okay, but now here's the big question: what do we give our rewrite?
what do we give our rewrite?
I think it gets a 7 out of 10
I was thinking a 7 as well. I agree with you there.
because there are things in our rewrite because we try to stick to the original script as much as possible that still don't work. Why are they kids?
Yeah. Would you prefer like the space origin or the negative zone origin? Because the negative zone origin is used in the Ultimate Comics.
Honestly, um, preferably, I kind of grew up on the original Fantastic Four movies,
Yeah.
so I kind of like the whole space idea. But like,
The space is the original idea.
I don't really care too much. Like, as long as
No.
they're able
I
to
feel like they might
do
change
it
it yet, and
creatively,
I'm not sure why.
they might what?
Change it.
It is. I'm not like one of those people who are like that isn't like the comics. This is terrible.
Yeah.
That's how
To
those
be
people
fair, it
sound.
feels like one of those wacky um comic origins when it's like the Flash who had every chemical known to man fall on him while being struck by lightning.
Yeah. um, and I mean, I think we still technically have those time jumps in there.
Yeah, but
So that isn't good.
anyway, we've 7 out of 10 and 2/3 out of 10
Yeah.
overall for this
2.5.
movie.
I'll go
Yeah,
2.5 if you'll
let's go
meet
with
me
2.5.
halfway.
I'm happy with a 2.5 to this movie.
All
Uh,
right, cool.
so thank you for listening, everyone. Next week we're doing
Yes.
another thing. Are we doing news and also some reviews?
Reviews.
Yes, we're newsing up the place, and the reviews will be of Black Widow. Anyway, yeah, follow us on TikTok at HD Movie Talk Podcast, or Deans __ Beans, or Fluffy Duffy, spelt with an IE instead of a Y.
Because that was taken from some lesser than creator.
And that's
I'll
why
say
I've
it.
got 2 underscores.
You have 2 underscores?
I did what you said. I messaged the person with 1 underscore. I messaged the person with no underscores. Neither of them replied to me.
Well, I think they technically have to follow you to message them.
No, I messaged one of them on Instagram because his Instagram profile is linked to his TikTok profile.
Oh, creative.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah, if you've got questions for us to answer, email them at hdmovietalkpod@gmail.com. And watch us on YouTube, and you're already watching us,
Support
maybe.
us.
Support us, okay?
Because we are most important.
Just forget everything else in your life and focus on Dean and Harlan.
Yes, I have. I know for a fact that I have my Venmo linked in my link tree. So just send me your entire bank account.
And he has promised that if someone sends him over £100, I will get 50% of it.
You know how you do you know how that's a lie, guys? Because he said pounds instead of dollars. Because he slipped up, man. You slipped
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this is a bit of a tangent. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Bye, guys.